request to do this video about baking positions and when your parts would need support. This is my oven here. I have an E-Wave oven, which I absolutely love. It's definitely different than a New Wave oven. I do have videos on like how to set up your oven, but I'll just show you guys the oven really quick and tell you why I love this style. This is the lid. It's a flat top lid. And then I have a deep basin. I'll show you that. It's nice and deep. This is different from an E-Wave in the sense that on a New Wave, I'm sorry, the lid is a dome. So if this was a New Wave, I would lift this up and this whole part would come off and it would have a flat base and it would sit over the parts with a dome. In my opinion, New Waves are a lot harder to bake parts in because of that fact. These are easy. I put my parts in, I set my lid on top, nothing's falling over. I'm not having to push any parts in to make sure the dome's not touching. It's easy. I have my extender ring here, which is definitely necessary. And then as far as what I have in here, I have a little bit of polyfill. You just want a small amount. You don't want to overdo it. These are Flatfold Cloth Diapers, which I really, really like. They leave no pattern if you bake parts wet or baking varnish or medium. And they're very affordable. I don't wash them. When they start getting yellow, I just replace them. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll show you how I would place a baby in the oven here. And I have a little Nevea that I'm working on, and she will be our little model. So as far as heads go, you always want to bake your head upright like this. I just set it in the oven. You can use the back for a little bit of support as long as you have this material. You never ever want your parts to touch against metal or against glass. You always want there to be a little bit of a barrier. You wouldn't want to bake face down or face up or upside down. That can cause some vinyl distortion just from when the vinyl heats up. There's some movement and these parts are heavy. They can sink in and have issues. And so baking it upright is good. You have good airflow around the face there, and you also have good airflow in general because the heads stick out a little bit. This area is going to be open to airflow, and so you're not going to need, you're going to get good curing the first time. I bake my vinyl parts personally like this. Sometimes I might do them like this instead. Some people bake their parts laying down like this. That is fine to do, but it's not my personal preference. A lot of times when you bake your parts down, you need to flip in between. If you bake them this way, they are kind of just barely setting up against the side. So again, you're having that heat airflow all the way around, and you're going to get better curing on the first bake. You're not going to have to bake multiple times. Sorry, I did not want to be on camera. I haven't brushed my hair or anything. Then I have my limbs. I would just go ahead, same thing. I put my legs kind of upright there. And you can see, hopefully they have like airflow between them. It makes it easy to bake all of the parts at once. If I were to bake all of these laying down, there's not enough room. So I would need to bake the head and arms together and then bake the legs separately. So this way you can bake all your parts at the same time, one bake for paint, and everything is getting cured at once. So these parts generally don't need any sort of support. You would just put them in the oven and bake like I just showed you. What does need support is a belly plate. If you just put your belly plate in here like this, it's going to heat. The weight is going to start pushing this down and your vinyl will split. So what I do is I just take a small hand towel and I just kind of fold it, roll it up, set my belly plate on top. Now the belly plate is fully supported, and I can just put it in the oven and bake it. When it starts to flex a little bit from the heat, it has nowhere to go because it has that support from the towel. And that's it. All right, you guys, so this was just a short video, but I hope that you enjoyed it and that it answered some of your questions on what position to bake your reborn parts in.